Hatsy and I'm back with another build in The Sims 4. This time we are going to be making a chalet or like a holiday home in Granite Falls, and the reason is because I don't think I've ever done anything like this before, and I don't use Granite Falls a lot. In fact, it took me a while to even know the name of it because I really don't use this world, and I think it's because it's not a livable world. I think if we were able to have Sims live here, then yeah, I would probably be here all the time, because it actually looks a lot like the kind of place that was near me or used to be near me in Switzerland, strangely. Like when I lived there, like kind of up by the mountains, there was this place that sort of reminded me of Granite Falls. So yeah, I really like living in Switzerland. And actually my husband wants to move back there, but I'm not too sure just yet, just because I really like being in England at the moment. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, then you probably won't have known that I've lived in a lot of places. But no, surprisingly, I really did miss England. So glad to be back. And I think I've been back for like 11 months now. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, so anyway, I was very excited about sharing this because I think this is one of my best builds, honestly. But that is probably because it's just really different. Like, it's just a different style to what I usually do. There are builds that I like that I've done, but I just think that sometimes if I do the same thing just like over and over again, it's just too repetitive. So this one is nice because it's just different. Like, I used like different roofing and I just made it quite complicated. And also it's a tall build. It's got loads of floors, it's got like loads of room. So it would be great for like a massive family to go and stay here. And it is on the gallery if you want to go and download it. You can find it under HatsyYT. I put it up there. But anyway, I don't want to talk about the build for too long because I have had some requests to talk about some random stuff which has been happening at the moment, and I have a lot to talk about. And it's actually going back to the fact that, well, I live in England now and there's been a few problems with where I live, and I'm going to talk about it. This is going to be a long story, but do you know, I think it's going to be a good one because I'm excited for this. But yeah, what I'm about to say is probably not going to be great for younger viewers. I've had a lot of complaints recently about, you know, my content maybe being a little bit more mature, or like some of my story topics are just getting a little bit more mature than they used to. So yeah, like this is going to be a story about harassment and like something that I had to deal with the other day. And I'm just going to be talking about on this build because honestly, I like sharing some of my stuff sometimes. And to be fair, this isn't like the most interesting part of the build. I think one of the most interesting parts about this build for me is probably when we come to do some of the landscaping and stuff. So I'll probably talk about that when it comes to it. For those of you that don't know, I've had some massive roadworks and it hasn't been my favorite thing. In fact, no, I hate roadworks. And the fact that my road has been closed, and it's my main road, for goodness sake. Okay, I've talked about this so many times, but it's my main road. Like, this road I need for everything. Like, to get to the shops, to go wherever I want to go, this is the road for me. And I live on the edge of a town. It's basically like without access to the road that I need, it's meant that I've had to like exit the town completely and re-enter from a different side, which puts like 45 minutes on my journey. But I've spoken about it. I spoke about it on the Beauty and the Beast castle, and I gave a pretty good rant on it. So this is not necessarily to do with the road. This is to do now with the people working on the road, because there's been a little bit of trouble, which I think is very interesting. And honestly, this escalated like crazy. I swear, one minute I was heading to the gym, the next minute it was, right, that's it, we're ringing the government. So there I was, miserably walking down the road that is closed because I don't want it to be closed. This is annoying and it's aggravating. Like, they could have, to be fair, they could have just put temporary traffic lights there and done like a half and half job, but no, they closed it for a month. Anyway, I was walking down, and I walked down that road probably like twice a day, maybe 4 times a day, depending if I need to go to the shops or not. And I don't like sort of making eye contact with, you know, anyone. So there are builders working down the road, and there's a lot of the builders down there. And I've noticed over the past few weeks that more and more when I go down, people have tried to start conversations with me for no reason. People have tried to get my attention, and that's fine, but I've made it like perfectly obvious that I really don't want to talk. And like, I've got my earphones in, my sunglasses on, my hood up, And to be honest, over the past few weeks, the attention has just got worse. Like, it's got to the point where I dread going down that road because I know that people are going to start like catcalling, you know, just disrespectful comments that I just don't want to hear. Yeah, it's just not nice. Like, I just kind of brace myself before walking down the road. And I don't know, it feels like a bit of a kick in the teeth, to be honest, because I didn't even want them to close the road. So now, like, not only have they closed my road, but like as I'm walking down miserable about it, I'm getting this just like unnecessary attention that I don't want. And it's not like I'm, you know, encouraging it. It's not like I'm wearing anything inappropriate. I'm just a regular civilian. That's it. So anyway, this was now, oh my goodness, going back to Thursday. So it's Saturday when I'm recording this. This was 2 days ago. I was walking down the road and I had my hoodie on, my sunglasses on, my earphones in, and I was looking at the floor. Like, if I couldn't make it any more obvious that I was not up for a conversation. I mean, that's just mad, isn't it? To be honest. So there I was walking to the gym, just like by myself, and this man stops me, and it's one of the builders again. And there are loads of them. So like, this isn't just one specific person. This is just like a group of, I'm gonna say, maybe 10, 15 men just like stopping me at different times, or, you know, making comments at different times and stuff like that. And it's just not nice, to be honest. So anyway, he stops me and he says that he wants to personally escort me across the road. So I just kind of brushed it off, and he brushed it off and he was like, okay, whatever. She rejected me because I think he was trying to find like a window to talk to me. I think that's what he wanted to do there. So anyway, there I was, like, did my gym session, and I was heading back then. So this was like 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours later, when I returned to that road, and it's now blazing hot sunshine weather. And I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? I'm absolutely boiling hot, but I've got my jacket on. And, you know, I was kind of worried about taking my jacket off and wearing just like my tank top and leggings down the road, because I knew that I was going to get unnecessary attention. And I didn't want to do that. Like, I didn't want to draw any attention to myself, but it was boiling hot. So I decided, you know what, sod it, I'm going to wear my tank top, and that's it. There I was, just walking down the road, again, headphones in, head down. Like, I do not want to talk to these people. Anyway, I decided that because it was one of those moments that I felt like something was going to happen, I decided to get my phone out and record it. Because, to be honest, like, if I'm just minding my own business walking down the road and it's hot weather, I wasn't going to let them scare me off from wearing whatever the hell I want, to be honest. So, walking down the road, I get to the very end of the road. And this is the inappropriate bit, so genuinely, like, if you're a younger viewer, like, you're probably not going to want to hear this because this is not nice. I was repulsed at this, so I do not condone this. 3 men, as soon as I passed them, shouted right at me, I'd F her. And they thought that was perfectly acceptable just to like shout out in public. I was disgusted. I was absolutely disgusted that 3 men decided to shout that at me. And they're supposed to be working. Like, this is supposed to be, you know, their profession. And if that's how they behave in work, I wouldn't like to see them behave out of work, to be honest. And the concern for me, like, being completely honest with everyone now, is the fact that they were so close to my house when they said it. Like, my house, like, I could see it. I could see it in the background. This was how bad it was. I mean, all I'd have to do is cross the road and they could literally see where I lived, you know? And again, I don't want to have people like that shouting comments at me right in the comfort of my own home, or, you know, on my premises sort of thing. So, no, I wasn't happy. Anyway, I sent the video to my husband, and he was like, right, that's it, ringing the government. So I left this to him because I had no idea how you'd even go about, you know, sort of resolving a situation like this. And he ends up ringing the government. And anyway, he gets in touch with the manager of the site, who is then trying to discuss what we should do about this. And he also wants to see the video for himself because he's absolutely disgusted that his men have been behaving like this. And also, you know, he's really concerned at how many times this sort of stuff's happened to me to get to a point where I felt so uneasy about going down that road that I've had to record it. Like, that's what he really wanted to know. So, yeah, anyway, we ended up going for a meeting down at the building site, and it's super awkward. Like, I've got to literally face all the men that, you know, in the past few weeks have been shouting comments and this and that, and I've just got to walk past them and just like, yeah, I'm now reporting you. So it was not the best hour, honestly, but I sat in a room and there was me, my husband, and there were managers there as well. So there was like the council manager of the site. They take this stuff really seriously, and that's amazing because, yeah, it was really nice to see them take this seriously. It wasn't something that they took lightly, like, okay, whatever, we're builders, what do you expect? Because honestly, that's what I thought the general attitude was going to be. But they were horrified that their men had been doing this, and they just said, no, this isn't the 1970s anymore, this is 2017, and we need to behave in a correct manner. And yeah, so anyway, what happened was, I think they were really worried that I was going to sue them. But I was just like, no, look, I'm not like that. Well, to be fair, I am. Like, I'm definitely one of these people that's just like, I'm gonna sue every single person that wrongs me, and then I don't actually end up suing every single person that wrongs me. But no, this is something that I really wanted to see an outcome. Like, I wanted them to speak to the builders, and I didn't want anybody to walk across my road and feel like I did. It was an awful feeling, honestly. What ends up happening is the council manager, I think it is, comes up with this idea that one of the ways that we could kind of resolve it was if the men personally came and apologized to my face. So yeah, anyway, I was doubtful at this at first because I was thinking, I don't know if I want to face these men again. But then I thought, no, do you know what? If I've came here to complain and ask for a resolution, then the least I can do is face these men and see if they're sorry, like genuinely see if they're sorry, because that's what I want. I want a resolution. I do not want these men to be saying things like that to women or to anybody walking past, because it's just not right. So the three men get called in, and it's so awkward. Like, they don't know what they're even being called into this office for at first, and I'm just sat there with my husband, who looks like a lawyer, may I add, because he's in his like business suit with a notepad. I don't even know why he bought his notepad, just ridiculous, I know. However, so I'm sat there, and as soon as they saw my face, their faces just dropped. Like, they knew instantly they'd messed up, they knew what they were called in about, and they knew it was wrong, like before anybody had even said anything. So they sat down, and it was really short. It was awkward because like they wouldn't want to give me eye contact or anything like that. But yeah, so what ended up happening was the one that was nearest me, because there was three of them. So the one nearest me was sort of apologetic, I guess. Like, I couldn't work out whether he was just really apologetic and nervous, or he was just very defensive and he was trying to find a coping mechanism of this rather annoying situation. Because his attitude was like, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do now though. He said, but I do feel bad because I have two sisters of my own, and if they got treated like how I treated you today, I would be very angry. So yeah, that was what he said. The other two were quiet, but the one in the middle, the only thing that he said was, to be fair, we weren't the only ones doing it. And it's just like, what? Like, what kind of attitude's that though? Let's take, gang members or something like that, just for an example here. Does it make it okay because they're not the only ones in a gang? Or, do you know what I mean though? It's just like, what? What kind of attitude's that? So no, anyway, they ended up apologising, I accepted, and that was amazing. And they did end up getting warnings from work as well, just because of the situation. And the builders ended up talking to 15 of their sites about how inappropriate this kind of behaviour is, how it won't be tolerated, and next time it happens, it won't just be warnings they'll be giving out, they will be firing people. That was it. I mean, I know it's a really long story, I'm sorry. I've taken up so much of this build talking about it, but honestly, I think that, it's such a long build. We have so much time to talk about random stuff that I'm actually creating. And to be fair, I needed to get it off my chest. That's been a big story for a few days now, so I've wanted to talk about that for a while, and I've been excited to kind of talk about that because, it's one of those stories that does have a resolution. It's not a nice one, but I was happy that what I did actually made a difference for once. Like, I did actually do something positive. And it may not sound positive, it may sound like, okay, those men had a warning, how is that positive, or whatever. But actually, Like, how many men got speaking to because of this? And how many men is it going to stop in the future that work on this? Like, all women, like women maybe do it as well. Anyway, moving on to the inside of the build. So we finished the outside, and I did finish off with some like landscaping around the build, mainly the rockery. I honestly think I'm going to do another like park build or something, because I haven't done a park in a while. And I don't know, I want to change my landscaping style up a bit, because I kind of do the same thing over and over again. And it's one of those generic styles that I look at a lot of people's builds now, and they kind of have the same thing that I have, and it's just like, oh, okay, I need to change my landscaping style a bit. So unfortunately, there is some footage of the kitchen and the lounge missing from the downstairs, and I'm really angry about that, honestly. Like, I'm angry at myself for letting that happen. I don't know how it happened. I honestly think it's because I've been recording so many machinimas recently, and the difference between recording a machinima and a build is that, so I'll record a build and it will be in like 3 videos, if that makes sense. Like, it will be 3 separate videos usually, because like that's how many breaks I take in between. I probably take a break like every 20-30 minutes. And with machinimas, when I make them, I make little 30-second videos and then stop, then start, then stop. So yeah, what ends up happening though sometimes is, whilst making the machinimas, because I keep all my videos just in like the same file, it may mean that occasionally I will accidentally delete a video. And I think that's what's happened with the kitchen, and I'm really mad because I loved the kitchen and it took me a while to do, but there will be pictures, and I will make sure that I'll do like a proper video tour either at the beginning or the end. So yeah, if you're seeing the beginning of the video, I'm guessing that you've seen the kitchen anyway, because I will draw big attention to it in the beginning. So yeah, I'm gonna start doing that more for my builds. I'm gonna start doing like little visual tours to begin with, because I think a lot of people really enjoy that, you know, just kind of like getting into the gameplay for a second and just showing you what the house looks like. So yeah, that's pretty good. Anyway, going on to the second floor, I think we're on now. Yeah, so, oh, something really weird about the first floor though. I did feel like the fireplace in the middle looked a little bit like a, oh, what do you call it, museum. I haven't been to a museum in ages, but yeah, that's what I imagine a museum looks like. I have no idea. It's been a while. It really has. I think the last time I went to a museum was probably with my uncle when I was probably like 10 years old. I don't know why my parents weren't there. Where were they? I have no idea. But I remember that my uncle bought me this really strange glass thing. And I'm actually going to be talking about this on a ghost video, because, okay, this is really weird. This is so strange. So it's like this little glass bottle, but I used to keep things on my sink, and this was in my very old house. This was the house that I'm going to make a video about, because things got too far in this home. This was no ordinary house. This got mad. So I had a sink in my bedroom. Yeah, I know, really weird, but it was very old. It was like hundreds and hundreds of years old, this house. And the weird thing was, every single time, like, I went near my sink, something very unfortunate would happen. And I've only just realized it recently, but honestly, like, every single time, you know, if there was ever anything to break in the house, or anything that I would do when I'd be messing up something or I break something, it would always be by my sink. Isn't that weird though? So this glass thing was placed on the side of my sink, and the day I got it, without even touching it, it smashed right in my sink. And I didn't even think anything of it at the time. I just thought, wow, I'm just really clumsy. Like, I can break things without even touching them. But no, I genuinely think there was an issue there. And, you know, I thought about it the other day and I thought, wow, oh my goodness, I remember there was one time when I put all my toys by that sink, because I was really young when I lived there, and all my toys got absolutely ruined by the water damage. They got damp because there happened to be a leak under the sink. How unfortunate, all my toys got ruined. And then, like, I remember my dad bought me this, I think it was like British Airways bag or something. So British Airways is it's a flight company, so it's an airline, and they did these bags, and for some really weird reason, my parents used to collect the bags. This is so odd. So like every single time they would fly with British Airways, they'd always bring these bags back, and I never really understood why. But I remember my dad gave me one of the bags that he got from a trip, and he didn't realise that it had a razor in. So I was by my sink and I ended up cutting my hand. But the weird thing is, like, I was only holding this razor. I didn't even touch the blade. Like, I didn't do anything unusual. And I ended up really hurting myself. So yeah, how weird's that? So that just randomly popped into my head the other day and I was thinking, wow, that sink though. All the problems that I thought were going on with that house, the last thing that I expected was a haunted sink. No, I don't think the sink was haunted. I just think it was just very unfortunate and just like a lot of weird stuff happened around the sink, if that makes sense. Strange, I know. And very strange if you don't believe in that as well. I must sound like a complete lunatic. And I've probably come across like that. But you know, I'm not worried. I don't mind. So there we go. Anyway, onto a bedroom. So I needed to have like a single bedroom as well. I thought that was quite a nice idea. In fact, if I was ever going to stay at like a sort of chalet or what do you call them, log cabins at say Centre Parks with my family, my grandparents would have that room. So, you know, I think it's quite nice to have some just separate rooms as well, just like double beds, single beds, mixing it up. But you can also have like a kids room and that could be it. So yeah, I think there's 4 bedrooms in this house. There could have been more, to be honest. You could probably have like 6 bedrooms if you wanted to, but I decided to include a spa and a gym. It would be so nice to go for a jog around Granite Falls. I would love that. I just feel really bad now looking back when I lived in Switzerland and there were so many places that I could have jogged and I never did. But I think it's just because I'm so worried that jogging's dangerous. Honestly, I need to get that thought out of my head. But then again though, I'm really unlucky. So yeah, I'd be one of those stories that you hear about, random jogger goes missing in the wilderness. That would literally be me. It just would. Anyway, so going on to the bathroom, I put in another bathroom upstairs. I didn't have that many of these. I think there's only 2. And honestly, I wasn't really feeling it at this point. I was watching some really interesting things though. I was watching, oh my goodness, creepy pastas. I'm really into those at the moment. Is that even what it's called? I don't know. But I was watching like creepy Reddit stories and things like that, and it's so interesting. Yeah, so one of the ones that really frightened me, you know when like you hear a story and it sticks in your head? That was what happened. So this is the one that stuck in my head. So I probably got this completely wrong and I'm probably going to be telling it in the strangest way. So there was a question on Reddit and it was about, have you ever gone to sleep, felt attached to somebody in your dream and then woke up and been really sad that they weren't real? And there was a reply to it. And it was about a guy saying that he was basically in an accident and he woke up from it. He met this girl and like they dated and he sort of like had to chase after a bit. She had loads of men after her and stuff like that. And like she didn't particularly like him at first, but then she did. It was really detailed, super detailed. He ended up marrying her and having, I think it was 2 kids, and they had a great life together and like they had a house. I mean, they had some financial struggles and maybe he wasn't too happy in his job at the time, things like that. This kept going on and on. So anyway, some time passes and it's like 10 years on and I think one of his kids is like 5 years old and he starts to notice there's this glitchy thing in the kitchen and it's like a lamp but it keeps twitching. So he goes over to it and just like as the weeks goes on, he just becomes more and more curious about it. And he's just like, okay, there's this twitching lamp in the kitchen. And like when he starts to go near it sort of more and more, he starts to kind of have feelings of pain and stuff like that. So anyway, it turns out that the whole 10 years that he's lived with his wife and his children were all a dream. Like it wasn't real. So he woke up from an accident. And not only did he have to come to terms with the fact that he was dealing with an accident, but he also had to come to terms with the fact that his wife and 2 kids that he's had for 10 years weren't even real. And it was all a figment of his own imagination. I can't, like this is mad. So I was on the edge of my seat thinking, this is crazy. This needs to be a movie. Honestly, like why has no one done this? I don't know, it could have been a really creative writer or it could be a genuine circumstance. But this story went into detail. Like this guy even went to therapy, like in his dream and stuff like that, like living day in, day out normally. So then he had to go to real therapy when he woke up because of all this. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, going back to this room, I'm going like so off topic today. Anyway, the room itself is supposed to be black and yellow. I don't know what was going on, honestly. But I had a really cool idea for a machinima whilst I was doing that room. So that should be becoming a reality really soon. I'll probably be working on that in the next few days actually. There'll be loads of machinimas coming out on the channel. Because I'm going away. I'm going to Seattle for my sister's wedding. So I'm pre-recording loads for that. So if I sound tired in some of my videos, then you know why. It's because I'm working so hard. I really am. So this was the last room, and it was a red and orange room. I don't know what was going on here. I've already used that bed though. I feel really bad using it again because it's such an individual bed. And I did a specific room build the other day. And I just feel bad using it, but I thought that it went really nicely, and I love using that picture. I just thought it looked really good. And all the views in the house are just to die for, honestly. But I can't help that. That is whoever's designed the beautiful granite falls. Adding a hot tub, the last thing that I did here, so just making sure there was enough space to do that. And that is the end of the build. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope to see all future ones. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.